Everybody has a story to tell, and there was a time when we would share those stories around the kitchen table, laughing, telling jokes, talking about the events of the day. Heated debates, tragic loss, living life. The kitchen table is where we share our lives. So come, sit with me and my friends as conversation unfolds across the kitchen table. In this episode, I'd love to introduce you to my dear friend Laura. Who am I kidding? She's one of my best friends of all time, and funnily enough, she's my ex-wife. When Laura came out as gay over 6 years ago, it threw my world upside down. But if it wasn't for our deep friendship that was the basis of our marriage, if it wasn't for the amazing, loving, caring, and congenial person that she is, and if it wasn't for the grace of God to lead me through those confusing times, I don't know if I could have made it out the other side. Our story is unique, and every time I tell it, people are amazed at our love for each other. I have learned through these years that if I've been shown grace, who am I to withhold it from someone else? And that love for another can take many different forms. And love is love. Love can transcend hurts, circumstances, and uncomfortable ideas. Love can mend wounds and look to the person inside. Laura is truly a beautiful person inside and out, and I invite you to listen to our story as we share part of it across the kitchen table. So, I'm here with Laura, and I'm sure that there's going to be other stories out there about our crazy life. I suppose for listeners, maybe I'll put this in the beginning. I don't know.
Oh, I have an idea for your intro.
Okay.
Although that's probably copywritten, so don't do that.
Yeah, especially since they wrote a whole opera around it. But yeah, we were married for 13 years, and that's an interesting story maybe for another day, but you can always, if you want to talk about it.
Well, we are, I guess Elwood mostly is planning or has started writing a book.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be adding to that my perspective on some stuff, I suppose. So, yeah, if there's anything particular you want to talk about there, we can do that. I'm open.
Well, we can talk about you, or we can start with some of those questions. It's up to you. Okay, so let me say...
you go ahead.
Well, I suppose a little bit more of an intro is that Laura is a very successful hairdresser here in Pittsburgh, specifically in the community of Bellevue.
Yeah.
And I think our personal story is one thing, and that's something we can maybe talk about in this, or if people are interested, when the book comes out, they can read about it. But to put it that simply, I think it's interesting to, and I've talked to a few people who their significant other had come out at some point during the relationship. Not every single one of them ends amicably.
Most don't.
So I think that there is some of that has kind of shaped you, at this point in your life. I mean, you are now married, and you and your wife have a house. But I am most proud of you for the work that you've done in your business.
Thanks.
Because, and maybe you should expound on this. I'm telling your story. I don't want to do the talking. But seeing you go from a stylist and then to a manager, and even being a stylist is tough. You're finding your own clientele, and I
got a little lucky though.
Yeah, how so?
I was lucky that two of the stylists that I work with, I feel like this actually happens pretty often, where you have a veteran stylist that ends up leaving that has a huge clientele, and it gets handed down to one of the younger stylist. So I got kind of lucky with that, because I did have two people that left the salon, and I did take on a lot of their clientele, and ended up being some of my favorite clients, honestly. So I have a couple Pittsburgh moms that fill in for my actual mom.
Pittsburgh mom, is that like Pittsburgh dad?
Not quite.
Hey, Dab.
No Debs. Yeah, so I got a little bit lucky with that, and then the opportunity was presented to be a manager at a salon, which was terrifying, and I thought, what business do I have doing this? I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But I thought, well, no way to find out than to try it. So went and did that, and that was an experience. That was...
Do you want to tell any specific stories from that one?
Oh, Lord. There are so many.
I mean, you can always call that one guy by a different name, but... I
could, yeah.
But you do the impression of him so well.
Oh. He's an enigma. I don't know. There were 19 stylists working under me, and that's a lot of personalities. A lot of personalities. The age range went from like 20 years old to like over 70. So it's just, it's an interesting group to work with. And of course, you know, like trying to get everybody to meld into a team with that kind of age gap. And you got the veterans who are like, oh, we never did that when I was young. And you're just like, well, this isn't the 1980s anymore, babe. But I learned a lot from the veteran stylists. I had a lot of support from them, which was great. And my old manager, R.I.P. Jimmy, he passed about a year and a half ago. He was always so good at like just patting me on the back and telling me that I was not doing a completely fucked up job.
Yeah.
So he was very encouraging, and I am eternally grateful for that. And then two of the girls that I worked with work for me currently, which is great. And then somebody that I worked with at my second salon is my co-owner at my current salon. So it's just a nice group of girls.
Yeah.
And they make me not hate going to work every day.
That's a good feeling.
That's the best feeling.
Well, so going back to Jimmy, do you have a good Jimmy story?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's just funny because
people listening aren't necessarily going to know Jimmy. Why don't you describe him?
Jimmy is your typical old Italian man that lived in like Bloomfield his whole life. I believe he lived out in Penn Hills at some point. But everybody knew Jimmy. He just had like a personality. It was like larger than life. He was the man in the hat.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say.
I mean, we weren't allowed to wear hats.
But he rocked a fedora.
But Jimmy was wearing that hat. Like nobody was going to tell him to take it off. He was just great. You know, he would tell you like the correct way to pronounce gabagool.
I was going to say the other bit. And he's Italian through and through.
Oh, yeah. Very, very much so. And then, you know, everybody knew his coffee order at Starbucks. And he always had either a cup of coffee or a cigarette in his hand, and sometimes both.
That was another one, yeah. If you didn't find him in the salon, he was right outside the mall.
He was outside smoking.
Cigarette and coffee in hand.
With his deep voice. And he would say, "You're the best, baby," all the time. But he said it to everybody, so.
Well, and I think
it was hard to tell who actually really was the best.
Who's baby? You're all the best in his book. I think that's why all of. He had a big outpouring for whenever he did pass.
Oh my gosh!
Because he was just such a lovely guy. Like,
everybody knows Jimmy.
Yeah, well, he interacted with everybody. I didn't see him that often. At that point, we were still married.
Yeah,
but I would come into the salon
occasionally.
And he would still just, "Hey, how you doing, Elwood?" And just enjoyed people.
He knew what was up when it came to be a stylist. I mean, he was successful up until he absolutely couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah,
and people didn't care how long it took him to do his hair or to do their hair because. They just enjoyed being around him, and he was a joy to be around most of the time.
Most of the time. We all have...
Everybody has our quirks, yeah. But I could always count on him, like, if the salon needed to be opened early for something. Mm-hmm. He would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and watch, like, a full movie before he ever even came to work and have, like, 2 pots of coffee. So he was ready and raring to go.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he was just... I don't think I realized how, like, much he meant to me until he passed away.
Yeah.
And I think about him a lot.
Yeah, he was a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
So, I suppose we're talking about the hairstylist thing. Let's go back further. What made you decide to do that?
I've always done hair, not legally.
You have a van out back.
Well, you're in high school.
Down behind the Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
At the airport.
Justin. I've always done hair. I did hair in high school for friends. I was always braiding people's hair. My best friend was a drum major. So before every football game, I would go up to the high school in the back hallways and get her all braided up so she could put her hat on. I did people's hair for homecoming. Then I went to college because I wanted to be the first one in my family to go to college, which was stupid. And my mom, she tried to convince me to go to Rotec for cosmetology, and it just wasn't my group of people. Plus, I couldn't be involved in extracurriculars. So that was a big downfall because I was involved in like choir and drama club and stuff, art stuff. So I didn't want to do that because then I couldn't have been involved in all that. So went to college, had a blast, did not get good grades. And then a falling out with a roommate kind of opened my eyes, and I was like, yeah, this isn't for me. So we went to tour. Actually, I think before falling out, it was over like Easter break or something. I actually went to tour Empire to see if I liked it, just to get a feel for it. And I was like, yeah, I want to do this. This is where I belong. Yeah. So the falling out kind of was like the last nail in the coffin. So took the summer off, and then that following September, I started beauty school, and I've loved it ever since.
Yeah. So what is the most rewarding thing, would you say, about being a hairstylist?
I mean, I don't look at clients as like money symbols. You know what I mean? I care about my clients. I try to remember things that are important to them, things that they have going on in their lives. I like that they trust me to tell me things. I think it's just, kind of building your own weird little family and people that know you pretty well and you know them very well.
It's the therapy thing.
Yes. Yeah. So it's like being a bartender. People just tell their hairdressers things. So I got a lot of secrets I'm not going to divulge.
Hopefully you're not a drunk barber.
I'm not. Mm-mm.
There are drunk barbers out there.
Yeah.
Actually, I saw something they're doing.
I don't mess with
at
that.
the brewery in town. I think it's like a free haircut or something.
Ooh.
I don't know. Hopefully that barber's not drinking.
I don't know all about that. I don't know how well that would go if I were inebriated.
Well, I suppose some other background for people is that so Laura and I like a lot of the same TV shows and comedies. We both really enjoy those things. Mm-hmm. So the Butt reference is How I Met Your Mother, which is funny because I'm currently rewatching it.
Yeah.
But when Robin Scherbatsky has the news anchor and she says Butt at the end of like every sentence, and then they turn it into a drinking game. Well, and they all get passed out.
And then also one of our favorite things is whenever someone says, "Yeah, that guy was a major pain." Major pain.
So if you haven't watched How I Met Your Mother, you'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's a good one.
And there's a lot of Psych references.
Yeah.
I think Trent and I talked a little bit about that yesterday. Proud of you.
And you have to do it in that voice.
With the finger.
Because it doesn't
proud
count.
of you.
I just got a tattoo the other day, and I was talking to my tattoo artist, and she and I are very alike in that way as well, with the liking the same movies. And she said, "I don't know if you've ever seen Hot Rod." I was like, "Girl, I can recite it." But she was tattooing me, and she was telling me about her boyfriend, and I asked how long they'd been together, and she said about 2 years, and I went, "So I guess you're saying it's getting pretty serious." And she had to stop tattooing because she lost it. So yeah.
And for those of you that don't know that one, that's Napoleon
Dynamite, yeah. But I feel like my love language might be movie and TV quotes.
Yeah, for sure. I think sometimes that can, because we're still best friends after this divorce.
Very much.
And so when we get back together and hanging out with other people, old habits die hard.
Yeah, we have our own weird little language, which thank God my wife is the person that she is.
She does it too? Because
she just recognizes that the two of us have a long history and that we have a lot of inside jokes and stuff. But, she's in on a lot of them, too.
Yeah. Well, that's something. So, let's go into that. Is that whenever all of this went down and we did get divorced, I think at that time you were dating Miss, right?
Yeah, early stages.
Yeah.
Because we had been separated for
like a year.
Separated, living in the same house, but doing our own.
Figuring stuff out.
Yeah, trying to do logistics and all that.
But I remember, I don't fully remember this instance, but I know that you and Miss brought it up later as far as the first time that we met.
Ooh.
And how awkward that was. You want to tell that one?
Well, we were switching over our phone plan. So I was going on to Melissa's plan and leaving your plan, but then it was chaotic and I had to call you to call T-Mobile and you were getting annoyed and then you're like, why don't I just come up to the mall? And I'm like, I feel like that ain't gonna be a good idea because they had never met before. And I was just like, I don't think this is a good place for that.
Is that really where we met?
No, because I didn't want you coming to the mall.
Okay.
So we did end up getting it switched over and it was fine, but then for some reason we ended up coming over to the house and Melissa came in with me. And you were sitting in the recliner with your Star Wars sweatshirt on, drinking a glass of scotch.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Looking all serious and not friendly. And I think you scared the piss out of Melissa.
It's funny. So
looking back, yeah, it was. But now she's I think she likes Elwood or loves Elwood just as much as she loves me.
Yeah, well, I think that's the thing is that the three of us were very open about communication.
Yeah.
I know for myself, kind of tying back to the inside jokes, I was always trying to be very cognizant of the fact that you and I had such a history, and I didn't want her to feel less or feel that she needed to compete with me for your love thing or whatever it was. I was always, especially early on as we got to know each other, I wanted to make sure that that was known, that I'm not looking to take you back. You're not looking to take me back, but that we can be friends after this. And I think that that's why our story, I think, seems to be so amazing to people.
Yeah.
We tell them how it went, and they're like, "Oh, wow, you have so much grace." And I'm like, "Well, I don't know."
When you're married to your best friend, that's easy.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think both of us, neither of us wanted to lose the other one. I'm going to tear up.
Oh.
I'm in perimenopause. Leave me alone. But, like, I think that, like, when you're married to your best friend and, you know, this happens and you end up splitting up, like, you just don't want to lose that person from your life. Mm-hmm. So that was probably the hardest thing, is thinking, like, am I going to see him again? Like, is he, like, you know, or then he brings this up a lot too, which I don't remember.
Oh, I remember this. I think I know what you're going to say.
Is one of our logistical conversations, and they weren't always the nicest because it's not a happy thing.
No.
But, you know, he said, well, I hope you don't think that when all this is over that we're going to be best friends. Well,
yeah, I'm pretty sure
suck on that.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure you cried after that one, and I
yeah.
was in a pretty angry spot when I said it. So.
Yeah. But, you know, like, I didn't remember that right away until that was brought up again.
I keep bringing it up.
Yeah, and then I'm like,
put it to bed, buddy.
Shut up. I'm eternally grateful that we're still best friends, because I don't like that many people.
People suck.
They do. They do.
Yeah, I mean, so we got married. I was 20 and you were 21. Mm-hmm. So we're both really young.
Yeah, and now I look at kids that are that age and I think,
oh my God, how stupid were we?
Yeah, like, what in the hell were our parents thinking, allowing that to happen?
Well, we were legal. We could sign our own paperwork.
True that.
We got plenty of backlash.
You couldn't drink.
No, I could not drink at my own wedding. I couldn't even drink on the honeymoon unless we were in international waters.
You were on the cruise, you were able to drink. Yeah.
Yes.
I just had this conversation with somebody the other day, which is so funny.
That is funny.
But actually, I think it was Deesh.
Oh.
We were talking about it.
Yeah.
And it's just so funny because, like, people, they're like, we had a dry wedding because, I mean, the groom wasn't of age to drink. So we had a dry wedding, and a lot of people are like, ugh, that's so boring. And I'm like, we were really young. Yeah. So... And it is what it is.
We had fun. We did things on the cheap because we were poor.
We did.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked in years after that. The one thing definitely would have been like an actual DJ.
Yes.
And then if we were both overage, then maybe we would have had some alcohol, because adults do need some lubrication sometimes. Yeah. But otherwise, I thought it was a beautiful day.
And I mean, if you read those like statistics and stuff, they always say about like the more money you spend, like the more likely you are to get divorced. Well, we added up all of our expenses and we did our entire wedding for $4,000. Yeah. And that's like food, wedding dress, rental chairs, venue, like the whole shebang, $4,000. Yep. And if I wouldn't have gone and figured out that I was gay, we'd probably still be married. So go on the cheap, just, save your money and buy a house, or,
This has been life advice from Laura.
I'm telling you, man.
Well, and you see a lot of it when you do hair and stuff. You do a lot of updos for weddings, and you know what's up with how much that stuff costs. Yeah,
that stuff's just so crazy. I mean, I understand people wanting to have a big celebration and stuff, but if you're unsure about it, save your money, babe.
Don't spend $30,000 on a wedding if you have no idea.
Go on a really cool trip, travel the world, buy a house, do a little tiny wedding. Yeah. You'll be happy.
Well, and it's funny you said about that if you wouldn't have come to that realization, we might still be married. We have had conversations about some of that, how the sexual component kind of enters into things.
Yes. Oh, if we had been kind of past where that was a very, very important thing in the relationship, we probably would not have split up.
Yeah, that's usually what our sentiment has been when we've talked about things.
If we would have been in our 60s, 70s.
Yeah, and sex isn't as important.
Right.
Yeah. Because there were definitely some difficult years in our relationship because of that.
But it wasn't something that I realized.
I remembered what it was. I was going to say, so you, we were talking about our amicable split and how we remained good friends afterwards, and we were able to recognize the relationship for what it was, and that we didn't want to lose those aspects of it. Do you really think, though, had had it not been that, let's say it wasn't the sex issue, but that we just realized at some point living together and trying to work together as partners didn't work. Like, do you think this happens a lot to people? Because I think that's something else that a lot of people say, well, divorces mostly suck. And yeah, they do. But you get those ones every once in a while where it's like, you know, I still love you as a person. And, I still love you as a person. But we clearly cannot live together as a unit because we do not see eye to eye on a lot of things. And so much of our stuff, we get in these fights because of it.
No, I don't think that. I feel like we had a very, very solid marriage aside from that. You know, like I said, we got married very young, so we had a lot of financial issues because neither of us come from like super affluent families. So there were a lot of times where it was rough, but like we always had that love. Like if we didn't have that kind of relationship, we wouldn't have made it through like the hard shit.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think that at all.
What's your favorite hard shit story?
How long do we have?
Yeah, there's always a second episode. We can bring you back on the show.
Well, probably one of the worst ones was we lost both of our vehicles in the span of 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That was rough. Our car got hit by a drunk driver and there was no witnesses and it was a complete loss. And then 2 weeks later, it was the day after Christmas and Elwood was taking me to work at the mall at that time. Mm-hmm. And on his way home, he hit some black ice and didn't have his phone, was wearing like house slippers, and he hit the median getting onto the parkway. And to look at the car, it didn't even look like anything was wrong with it. But I guess the frame was bent just enough underneath that they totaled it out.
Yep.
So we were left paying for a car that we couldn't drive for 6 months, not having vehicles, not having 2 vehicles. Thank God for his sister. Shout out to Em, because she came out with her car and like helped us immensely.
Until we got these 2 pieces of shit.
And then my daddy, came to our rescue, and he had this crappy blue Ford Windstar that we called, what do we call her?
I don't remember.
Bertha. Big Bertha.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, Bertha.
But she was a blue Ford Windstar, and every time you wanted to start it up, you had to pop the hood and disconnect and reconnect the battery cables, which was really fun in the winter.
Oh, yeah.
Also, it had a slow leak in the one tire.
It had electrical tape over the check engine light that your dad said, don't worry about that.
Don't worry about it. It's fine. Other than that, she drove okay.
Yeah.
To be honest, it wasn't terrible. And then we ended up getting another vehicle from my sister and ex-brother-in-law, which we were very grateful for at that time.
But also a POS.
Yeah, 2 pieces of shit. But, you know, just talking about all of this stuff and about, like, our relationship and the amount of love that was there, I think we always valued spending time together over working harder to make more money.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Because they'd ask me to go out and stuff whenever I went to Regis to manage and stuff. And I was like, no, I really just, like, want to hang out with Elwood. And we really, truly enjoyed spending time together.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but now I have to, like, look and say, like, I'm so proud of both of us because we have both grown so much since we got divorced. Like, divorce is sad.
Yeah.
Most of the time. And it was sad for us, too. But, you know, our relationship has transcended that. But we've both grown so much. Like, we both own a house now.
Yeah.
You know, we both have, like, nice vehicles that have warranties, like these little things that you don't think about that are so important that make your life so much less stressful.
Yeah.
And like, we're just out here killing the game now.
Yeah, yeah.
So we have lots of good things on the horizon, and I'm just really proud of us.
Yeah, go us.
Yeah.
Go 2025.
That was a high five if you didn't know.
That's okay. I'll put that in as a sound effect in post.
Yeah.
Try not to clip the meter here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been an interesting 7, 8, 9 years. How many years have we been divorced then? This is the 6th,
I believe. Yeah.
This March.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a funny story too. So when I was working out at this one church,
signing the papers the first time was not a funny story, but the finalization of it was okay.
So I work at this church, or I was working at this church, And one of the pastors there on staff, he really wanted to get my whole story out of me. And I can sometimes, when I'm telling things, stay very much in the middle or stay very elusive as to where I actually lie on things, especially in a church setting. Like, you know, if it's a church that leans towards the Trump side of things, or if it's a church that leans toward the Biden side of things, either way, well, you can clearly hear where Laura lies. But
Not a big fan of Cinnamon Hitler.
Yeah, I don't always try to. I mean, it depends on the person as far as speaking politics. But when it's in a church, and especially when you work there, you do have to be selective about who you're telling some of your personal stuff, because sometimes I wouldn't say they misconstrue things, but they can look at you differently or judge you differently, and I don't need that shit.
Oh yeah.
So
even at work sometimes, even though people know that we're very LGBTQ friendly.
Yeah.
Of course, because one of the owners is gay.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, like especially if it's a new client, I always kind of look for people's reactions whenever we use the phrase "my wife," just to see. And pleasantly surprised to say that most everybody
has give you the stank eye.
Yeah, and I'm not going to deal with that in my establishment, because that's meant to be a place that's safe for people.
For sure. And but, I mean, I would think you might be...
I digress.
I digress. You might be a libertarian as much as I am, where it's like, you know, you do you. As long as you're not harming other people, you do you.
That's what I don't understand in general. Like
bakeries that won't allow gay people to come.
Oh, for the love.
That's a little much, guys. Like, you're running a business. Okay.
The way I look at it, and I've always looked at it because I've always been a huge ally of the LGBTQ community, like in college and even before. I don't really have a lot of experience like with gay people back home because it's just not as widely.
Well, but then there's a good friend of ours. He was the best man in the wedding. He was my roommate for 2 years at college. Very similar story to ours. Where
absolutely.
Years later, he came out, and they're still best friends.
Yep.
They co-parent very well.
Very well. And we still love them both dearly, and they're very supportive of us. So
interesting.
It's awesome, but I don't know where I was going with that.
Me neither. This is Grand Central Station. This podcast. Trent and I were both very much on like staying on track. This one's gonna be a lot more fun because it's like, hey, let's start talking about this.
Yeah, me and the words "on track" are not synonymous. Well, I have ADD.
So coming back is that I was talking about pastor at the church. He's trying to figure me out.
Right.
He's trying to get these ideas. So I said to him the one day, I said, okay, you get one question a day. And so he's thinking, and he's like, oh, this has got to be a good one because I need to figure you out through these questions. And he said, what is one of your, what's one of the first memories, or what is one of your most important memories from getting divorced? I don't even think he said the day the divorce was finalized. Maybe he did, but my mind went to the story of whenever we both went down to the courthouse to sign the paperwork.
Yeah, he picked me up. Pick me up at the house. We go downtown, park, go into the courthouse, sign the papers, and they're like, yeah, you'll get your, final decree or whatever in a couple days. And we're like, cool. Well, Elwood's like, I need a haircut. And then he's like, well, are you hungry? And I'm like, yeah. So we go to Applebee's, have lunch, and then we go to my studio at Sola, and I cut his hair, and then he took me home and dropped me off.
And that was just a normal divorce day.
But who does that?
Yeah.
We does that.
We do. We do does that.
We does that.
Yeah. I think, I suppose a lot of this may center around all of this conversation, but for me personally, I think it was, we might have talked about this before off the air, but that something I always thought of was how, yes, it may hurt me that I'm losing my life partner like that, but I would always think about how much more difficult it would have had to been for you to figure this stuff out about yourself. And then not only that, but then to express it. Because let's be honest, the area of the world that we come from is a little homophobic. I'm not saying that they're going to grab their torches and pitchforks, but
it's not as widely accepted for sure.
Yeah.
When I first started developing feelings for somebody, I was kind of like, what is going on? This is new. So that was a little bit scary. And then so I didn't really know how to process my feelings. So I just started being really mean to Elwood.
Yeah. I remember that.
Essentially.
Sometimes.
I don't know I don't know what I was hoping to get from that, but I don't know if I was hoping that he would get like mad enough at me that he would just like want to divorce me because I was having these confusing feelings. And so we had a tricky couple. I think it was like a tricky couple months there where he would be like, talk to me, tell me what's wrong. And I'm like,
Are you mad at me?
I can't. Like, I just kept telling him, like, I'm just so fucked up in my head right now. Like, I can't talk about it. And then he ended up going and staying with friends for a couple days. And we weren't talking at all. And then I was talking to the now wife of the friends he was staying with. And she's like, I think you really just need to talk to him. And she goes, he's not going to come home until you talk to him. So I invited him out for dinner. You don't remember any of this.
Okay, so
I'm looking at your face and I'm like, blank.
we might not want to put their names in there, but we can...
Well, yeah, I wasn't planning on it.
Yeah, but... Yeah, who are you talking about? Oh, okay.
So anyway, says to me, yeah, you should just like, text him or call him and you guys need to talk. So we went out for dinner and that dinner was more awkward than like our first like technical date.
Was that the first time that you told me about this
Yeah.
stuff then? Like sometime in June of that year?
It was like June, July, something.
Okay.
And I basically, like, I just couldn't get it out because a lot of the times I have this, like, disconnect where my brain's just, like, running, but I cannot get it to come out of my mouth.
Yeah.
That's a big problem I have. So I was just like, how do I tell him this? I was so scared to tell him. And then I just told him, I said, I have a crush on a girl. And he was like...
Oh, that's it? Oh, this whole time I thought you were mad at me or that I did something wrong.
he's just so, like, lackadaisical about it. And I'm like...
Okay, well, I mean...
This is kind of a big thing. Like, I'm, like, real confused here. Like, what's going on? And he was just so, like, nice about it. And he's like, well, let's, like, figure this out. So we decided to, like, open up our marriage. But...
I was going to say, then it got weirder from there almost.
It got weirder from there because you're too good of a guy to... Even with permission, cheat. So,
and then I think
if you want to call it that, I wouldn't call it that.
Yeah, because it wasn't really cheating. We had talked about that.
We had an agreement,
and it was kind of like you figuring out these feelings. Because I think we came to the decision. I do remember this bit. There was a lot of shady stuff from those years. Trauma can make you forget things, but. I remember that it was like that first June where we had that first discussion about it. And then it was like a few months went by. And then you got weird again. And then we talked about it. And it was like, well, I'm still feeling these feelings.
Yeah.
So that by the third time in like that November or so.
It was like right around Thanksgiving.
Like, okay, well then maybe you need to explore this. Because I know for me personally, I can't keep going through this cycle of ups and downs. Like it's really wrecking me personally.
Yeah.
And at that point is when we decided to kind of go that route.
Hall Pass.
Yeah, Hall Pass. Yeah, the movie.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, I think my favorite awkward story was your birthday. When we went to Niagara Falls.
God.
Oh, maybe we should save that one for another episode.
Yeah, let's put that on the back burner.
But then throughout that year, I think coming to that decision and you figuring this stuff out about yourself. Again, I admired you to come to me that October before R&D's wedding. Research and development.
Yes. That's what we're going to call them from now on. You're welcome, guys.
Mr. and Mrs. X.
Mr. and Mrs. Research and Development.
They, the week of, and you said that you think we should get a divorce. And, that was a big thing for you to have to come to terms with and to say. I mean, I suppose I'm the everlasting romantic, so I might have never said it. I don't know. Who knows what kind of bad things would still be going on if you wouldn't have
I don't know,
pulled the
but
trigger.
I think sometimes you give me too much credit, too.
Yeah. Were you drunk before you said it? Is that
No.
what it was? You're like, you know what? I think I'm better.
Not at all. Stone cold sober.
Yeah.
But...
I mean, your timing was awful. Let's get that straight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was bad. But we had a lot of like logistical conversations about what we would do and who would keep the house. And I mean, we were running at that time, but still just trying to figure out like where to go from here. Mm-hmm. But we did really well with that. Like even when you were sorting through stuff, although there's some stuff that I'm certain that you got rid of that you really wish you had not gotten rid of at this point.
Yeah, possibly.
But, you do things in anger and when you've had a little bit too much scotch.
You start burning things.
You just start like, I don't really want that.
It's like Ron Swanson.
I don't really
this
want
is how
that.
you do an ex-wife effigy. There again, reference Parks and Rec.
Have you ever done that? Have you ever done an ex-wife effigy?
Me personally, no.
Yeah, I've never done an ex-husband either. So
I think there've been instances where I've burned things because of like trying to release guilt or, some sort of
like where you write it
addiction
on a piece of
yeah.
paper and then burn it.
Yeah, those sort of things. I think Em did that about with Dad.
Not a bad idea.
Makes sense. There is something kind of soothing or regenerative. Cathartic. Thank you. See, so Laura's good for a lot of different things. That's why I keep her around. Mm-hmm. She's got a memory like a steel trap.
Yep.
She is really good with words. Not so great with math, according to her. Although, if you ask her for certain percentages of things and the money symbols in front of it,
so fast.
I feel like it's Kevin. Again, we're going to go for a reference from The Office. When he does the math with the cookies.
Yeah.
As long as you say it in cookies, he can do mental math like a genius. Yeah. And then you say just numbers and he goes, I don't
know how to do that.
Yeah. So if you do tips and percentages.
If there's a sale and they're like, hey, bitch, this is 40% off. I'm like, that's this much.
I know that exactly.
That just comes from years of serving tables and doing hair.
Yeah.
You get really good at percentages.
But you are pretty good at the mental math.
Yeah.
The simplicity of
I'm pretty good with like fractions too because of baking.
Yeah.
Like cakes and cookies, not... Well, I mean...
I like to bake both. Sometimes in the same pan.
I do like to bake both.
Which is fine in Pennsylvania in 2025, currently, January, is when we're recording this. Who knows when this gets out there. But is that marijuana, Mary Jane, is legal.
Medically legal. So.
With a card.
Yep.
And
so we're good.
Laura has her card. So DEA, please let us alone. Stop calling the house.
Listen, I just want to chill. That's all.
Yeah,
good for my anxiety.
You do like to bake. You bake some good stuff.
Oh yeah.
And cooker. You're a good cooker.
Yeah, that's my little sister. When she was like itty bitty, she used to tell my mom that she was a really good cooker, and it's like one of my favorite things that she said.
And it just sticks with you.
That and Comfortable.
Oh, Comfortable. That's the one you're gonna go for.
Yeah.
Okay.
What were you thinking?
You crank me up.
Oh God.
Oh, and please tell the. Oh. Okay, so if you do your research, you may be able to find out who her sister is, but we won't say her name. Have you said her name already?
No.
Okay. Do you want to tell the maxi pad?
We could go on for an hour about the crazy stuff that that one has done.
Some of your favorite sister stories.
Well, I've told this one several times, and I've actually told this one pretty recently. There's a Dairy Queen in back where I'm from, and me and my mom and her had gone to Dairy Queen. And we were walking out with our ice cream cones, and she had a little toy she got in her kid meal, and then she had her ice cream cone, and we're walking out the doors, and she looks at me and she goes, you hold this, trying to get me to take one of the things out of her hands. And I said, no, you got it. Like, I'll open the door for you. You hold them. And she's like, you hold this. And I said, you can hold them yourself. And she just screams in the middle of Dairy Queen, I got a wedgie! So I did take her ice cream cone then, and we were like, get me out of here. So she was real good at like making loud noises in public, and then it basically got blamed on me or my mom.
Yeah.
She steak knifed our couch. She used her dad's lumber marker to draw on the television. She drew with a washable marker on my chicken that I had hatched from a egg. So
Fed your fish.
Fed the fish a pound box of cornflakes. They all died.
I thought you were going to say the PMS one. Yes, I'm pissed.
Oh, yeah. She was really cranky the one day, and my mom said to her, boy, she said, do you have PMS or something? And she said, yes, I'm pissed. And then when she was probably like 2 or so, the duplex we lived in, which was actually really big, she was being too quiet, like toddlers are when they're getting into something. And my mom was in her bedroom. She like called for my sister, and my sister walked out of the bathroom, and she just had a panty liner stuck all over her body and said to my mom, look, Mommy, I wear a pad.
Yes. That's the one I was thinking of. Oh.
She was a rascal.
Crazy girl.
And Elwood has known her since she was 9.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
That is crazy.
Because now her oldest child is 15.
Man, we're getting old.
Yeah. And her youngest is gonna be 8. So just a year older than him is how old she was whenever Elwood met her. So he will always be her big brother.
Yep.
Forever and ever, amen.
Okay, so we have just a few more minutes, but I've added this question that I want to know one of the funniest stories that has ever happened to you.
I don't know if it's as funny as it is embarrassing, but they're kind of synonymous.
It's funny to everybody outside of it.
That's true. So, me and my roommate in college, it was my sophomore year. It was the spring semester before we got married. We had new people moving into our floor, or onto our floor, and we did have a new girl moving in across the hall. So we had our door propped open because we figured, it's kind of easier to just like say hi to somebody rather than have the door closed and, be awkward knocking and stuff. So my roommate and I we would be on each be on our computers working on homework stuff or whatever, and maybe one of us would have to let out a little toot or something. So, we'd aim our hindquarters at the other and leave a little toot. Well, I trusted my little toot a little too much. So I leaned and I did a little toot, and it came with more than just a toot. And I was like, oh dear. So I ran into our bathroom, and just as I cracked the door open to yell for my roommate to get me a clean pair of underoos, the new girl across the hall walked up to her door and was like, hi, I'm Renee. I just moved in. And I'm like, I just shit my pants. So that was Renee's introduction to me. Yeah. And I had to tell her that, this is not a normal occurrence.
Yeah, this isn't an everyday thing.
Yeah.
Everyone does it once in a while. You never know. That's why you never trust a fart.
That's why we don't want a GBL.
Yeah.
And GBL means gambled but lost.
Well, so I think you told the softer version of the story because you were trying to be politically correct. The thing is that you and your roommate were throwing farts at each other and laughing about it. Yeah. It was a competition of like, ha ha, look how much, and then ha ha, and then ha ha, oh.
I'm clearly very classy.
You stay classy, San Diego.
I can be classy when it calls for it. Yes. I'm a real good faker.
You dress up well.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
people would never know.
The last one, because we can always have you back, and I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
I think you and I could go for 8-10 hours just talking about stuff.
Oh, yeah. We got a lot of material.
But the one I'm liking for this round of things is what is one of your favorite sayings or messages of hope, and how has that been shown in your life? Sounds like a Hallmark card.
How serious do you want me to be? Because I was going to say, hating bitches ain't happy, and happy bitches ain't hating.
Oh, hey, if that's your go-to.
But I'm taking that quote from Dante Elizabeth James, who is one of my favorite creators on TikTok. He's very positive. I've actually been encouraged to start my own gratitude journal, where every morning I write down 5 things I'm grateful for. Yeah. And it's supposed to get you into the mindset of being more positive and just living a more positive life. Because I truly think that you can trick yourself into being positive by, staying positive in your head, because feelings turn into thoughts turn into feelings. Yeah, I think by sitting and writing down what you're thankful for, it just kind of puts you in a new perspective for the day. Man, I have a lot to be grateful for.
Yeah.
Things that you don't really think about every day, like the fact that we have clean water coming out of our taps that doesn't catch on fire when we light it.
Yeah.
Or that we can bathe whenever we want.
Yeah.
We have clean water to drink. We're not drinking out of dirty puddles. Just these simple things that people just take for granted every day.
Yeah.
Is something to be truly grateful for.
For sure.
And I'm chunky, so I'm not starving. So I think that I'm always constantly working towards trying to be more positive and having a more positive mindset, which is really hard with the state of the world today.
Yeah.
But that's
a whole other thing too.
That's a whole other podcast.
So what was the phrase again?
Happy bitches ain't hating, and hating bitches ain't happy.
Well, yeah, I think there's a lot to get out of that.
And also another one he says that really clicks for me is, if you're not changing it, you're choosing it.
Ooh, that one's pretty deep.
So, you have to, if there's something that you're not happy with in your life, but you refuse to do anything about it, then you're choosing to stay there.
Your inaction is your choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is
That's a tough look in the mirror.
Yeah. It's a good one, though. And it's true when you think about it.
Cool. Well, I think that we have tons of Tons of people?
Yeah. Tons of people.
Honestly, I really have to go pee, so that's what I'm thinking about currently.
Cut.
Nah.
Scene.
Yeah, we'll have to next time you come back, we should probably talk about some of the filming stuff and some of those things. Because I wanted to say a little bit about that whenever you were saying about that we like to spend time together.
I mean, I think to just kind of sum it all up, I feel like we've always been each other's biggest supporters.
Yeah.
And still are.
Yeah.
So Elwood does a lot for us at the salon and doesn't charge me because he just wants to support me in that, and I'll do whatever I can to support him.
And I have a
too.
hairdresser for life.
Yep, for free.
For free?
For free?
Okay. Well, I enjoy having you here, and we'll talk to you next time.
Yeah, that's fun. Peace out.
Thanks for stopping by today. There's always a seat at the kitchen table and another story to tell. If you have a story to tell, I'd love to hear from you. Please send me a message. And also subscribe to the channel to look for more episodes, anecdotes, and information. Talk to you next time and have a great day.